we are here to bring you everything and anything surrounding Porsche. I'm Mike.
I'm Aaron.
And this is P-Car Talk. Welcome to another episode of P-Car Talk. We are at Kevin Lynch's house. We are guests of his. We have on the show, we're going to have Drew from 911 Cool and Darin from Pfister Motorsports. So we're very fortunate to have them and bug them for some of their time. But before we get going with that, I just want to plug Kevin's Wolfpack 901. There's a lot of people out there that maybe not know exactly what that is. And what it is a foundation to help young people basically get placed in an apprenticeships to try to work on, 911s or, air-cooled cars and things of that nature. So it's a passion project that he started up, and it's a really great thing. So go to his website if you have an opportunity, especially if you have any interest and you're a young person listening, reach out to them for an opportunity and, talk to Kevin about that, and he can see what the next steps may be for you.
Dude, that is amazing. I wish I knew about that when I was in high school.
Exactly. Right?
Yeah.
How awesome of a program is that? And like for him, and honestly, like the great thing is they've already placed a person at John Benton Performance. I mean, How cool would that be? Imagine that, Drew, like somebody like us in high school getting an opportunity to go work at John Benton's place.
Pretty amazing.
Epic. Yeah.
I think I met him too. He drove me around the 912 last time I was there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, sweet kid. He reminds me of my buddy Christian. I was telling him, I was like, dude, you remind me of my buddy.
Yeah.
Super nice kid.
And such a dying art too, right?
Yeah.
That's why they're doing it. They're trying to get somebody to work on the older cars because all the older mechanics are dying off.
Yeah.
So all the new guys only want to work on the new stuff.
Exactly.
All computerized, all this. Nobody's getting into the old school like it used to be. So that's why they're trying to, keep that going.
Yeah.
Get somebody that can bring that up from the people that are going away. So,
Absolutely.
Do we know anybody who works on old cars here in this table? Oh, that's
We
right. This guy right here.
We got a guy on the table that does it.
I don't even need to plug this guy's stuff, but if you guys don't know who Darin is, you guys need to get checked because Darin, actually, I found Darin back in the day just on YouTube.
Yeah, Darin gave Drew content just because he installed his exhaust. I saw that video that he's like, look at these stage 3 Pfister exhausts. I'm going to install these in the car. And
honestly,
that was
besides the 993, because I'm, people know I'm not the biggest fan of 993, but after the exhaust install, like it instantly changed it up for me. That's crazy.
It gave it the proper sound that it needed, huh?
Yeah. And I remember the biggest takeaway with Darin is I remember one time I was installing the shifter stuff, the golden rod and stuff, and it was Friday night. And I was like,
I think it was about 9 o'clock.
It was around 9 o'clock, and I was like, dude, we can't get this thing in, and I don't want to linger till Saturday, Sunday, or Monday.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, should we just figure out if anybody's going to answer this phone? And we called, and Darin picked up, and we're like, dude, yes.
Yeah.
That is. And then, Darin sat with us the whole time, making sure he was just like, oh, it's just upside down. And I was like, oh my God.
Total disclaimer, don't be blowing him up for that. That was like a special situation. Don't be blowing.
No, that's what I do. That's what I do, man. That's what I do. It's, it's my passion.
Yeah.
Brother,
it's my passion.
Yeah, cheers to
Yeah.
Darin, man. Good dude, man.
I remember that night. I'm talking to Drew, and the next thing I see on Instagram, there's videos of somebody holding a phone with me talking, with my voice coming through. It was crazy. It was super fun, though. Super fun. I really like stuff like that.
So let's get into Darin.
Hold on. Before we get started, just real quick, if I could have 5 seconds of your time.
Yeah.
I brought some stuff for you, gentlemen.
Okay. Look at this.
We'll start out with just a little. Nothing
man,
crazy. But
look at this.
And a little birdie told me that you guys were large size T-shirt.
Yeah. I'm usually a youth size large.
Well, if I had biceps like yours, I would be too. So I brought two different ones. There's an FD one and there's a Pfister exhaust one. So you guys have to fight over.
I like this
fight
one.
Over
this
who
one's
wants.
mine.
Who gets
I like this one. That's great.
I get to pass them out, so I get to pick.
But that's a little thank you
thank
to you
so
guys
much.
for
Thanks
for having me on.
Of
I really
course,
appreciate it. You guys are doing. I love this. You guys took this whole thing on. This P-Car
Thank
Talk
you,
thing.
man.
It's awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, we're just trying to keep it organic, trying to like make it all for Porsche guys, like just like us, and like we have 9-to-5s too. We're not monetizing this, and we're just trying to get everybody's story out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because we feel that you in the industry, you're a very important part of the industry, in our opinion, and I think in a lot of other people's opinion as well. So let's get into it a little bit.
Sure.
Pfister Motorsports, right?
Yeah, it's
exactly
actually the company, the official company is FD Motorsports.
Okay.
The F stands for Pfister, and when I started the company, I had a friend of mine, just like you two guys. His last name was DiPietro, and Mark DiPietro, and I was a little nervous to start it myself because I was just getting crazy busy, and it was starting to grow, and it was just in the development stages. And so he backed me up and helped me out, and helped me with a lot of stuff early on. And then as time went on, his real job kept taking him away, and he finally decided he needed to step back a little bit because he just couldn't handle the load that was coming down the line with the company. So but Mark DiPietro. So it's FD Motorsports.
Okay.
It's kind of just developed into FD now instead of Pfister DiPietro.
Yeah.
But a lot of people think it's Pfister Motorsports, and I don't argue with that.
Yeah.
So, because I'm
You're like, it still gets my name out there, right?
And I'm there every day, every night, every weekend. So it is me. So
and you guys are growing too, because I just saw you making a post that you had a new hire just recently as well, right?
We did. Yeah. We had to. It's just been getting crazy. I brought my son in last year, actually a year and a half ago. And he's doing all my bookkeeping and take care of all of that. So it's a real family affair.
That's
and
awesome.
Then this new gentleman we just hired, who I'm really excited about. I hired him as my assistant because he goes, "What's my job description?" And I said, "Anything I tell you to do."
Yeah, I like
that's
that.
what you're going to do.
I like
so
that.
I said, nothing is below you, nothing is above you.
Yeah.
And I won't ask you to do anything that you're not trained to do, or I won't show you how to do, or that I won't do.
Exactly.
So but he's awesome. He's great. Really helped me pick up the slack. So cheers to you, Will,
That's
if
awesome.
you're listening to this. I
Yeah,
appreciate
Will.
you, brother.
Yeah,
Appreciate
Will.
you. Yeah.
Awesome. So let's get into all the products, but like I really want to focus on, and then we'll talk about some of the details of the other products. Your exhaust systems that you do on air-cooled cars are so cool. And let's get into, describe that process. Like, how did you come about, like, doing that?
Sure. Yeah, so early on in 2000s, I ended up getting my first Porsche, which was a 993. And I just wasn't really happy with the sound of it. I've been a fabricator, metal worker for years. My dad taught me how to weld when I was a kid. He's a pipe fitter and stuff. So that's always been, like, in my nature. Yeah. So I decided to pull the mufflers apart and see what they're made out of, and see if I could do some reworking. And so it took me a couple of different iterations, and I came up with a little version on my car that I really, really liked. And it was just for me. I had no intention of, launching a product.
That's how these things always
doing
start.
anything crazy. It was just like, I'm just going to.
They're like, yo, bro, I want that.
Yeah. And that's exactly what happened. So I started going to all these drives and through Renlist and all these places, and all my friends they got 993s. We all had 993s, and everybody's like, "What exhaust are you running?" I'm like, "Oh, that's mine." And they're, "Can you do mine?"
Yeah.
And it's like, "Yeah, sure." So I started.
It's called the Pfister, bro.
That's right. It wasn't actually called that yet. It wasn't actually called that yet.
It's the Pfister, bro.
What's funny is I had a guy call me once, and he was talking about the exhaust, and he's like, "Hey," he says, "Who am I talking to?" And I go, "Oh, I'm Darin. Darin Pfister." He goes, "Oh, you're the guy." He goes, "Hey, how cool is that you have an exhaust named after you?"
Oh. You didn't even pick up on it.
I don't think you could put the pieces together there. Yeah.
Yeah, burn another one, bro.
Seriously, it's like, okay, sure. It's pretty cool. It's actually pretty cool. But anyway, so I started doing that, and it started picking up on Renlist a little bit. So it ended up I would do, every few months somebody would contact me from another state or another area, or come to my house, and I didn't have a shop or anything. I just jack the car up in front of the house, take the mufflers off, go in my garage, cut them apart, weld them up.
Super grassroots.
Yeah, so it started like that. I was probably charging, I don't even want to say what I was charging that.
Yeah.
It's
not enough.
It's not realistic.
Yeah.
But so I started
He's like,
doing
I was
that.
just being nice.
Yeah. So that started it was a slow growth process. But like I said, it wasn't my intention to have a Porsche shop. I just wasn't.
Yeah.
Everybody says, "Oh, that'd be great," but it's like that wasn't my dream. It was just whatever.
You're like, yeah, whatever it happens. This is cool. I mean, it may die out and people will stop talking to me in 6 months, maybe.
But my car still sounds great, so that was all I
Exactly.
cared about, right? Because
Exactly.
at the core of all this, I'm no different than any of you guys. I'm an enthusiast. I always have been, and I always will be. That's just the way it is.
I could smell it.
Yeah. So guys started coming to my house. They started coming about one a month then. And guys started coming to my house, and they're like, "Hey, can you change my oil while I'm here? Hey, my clutch is slipping. Can you put this clutch in my car? And hey, I bought this suspension. Can you put this on?" And it started getting crazy, right?
Yeah.
Guys
You're
were
like, "This is my house, man."
Yeah. Well, I did end up building a shop on my property. I lived on a ranch at the time, and I ended up building a shop. It wasn't a commercial building, but You know,
Yeah.
it was like my own private little business.
Yeah,
It wasn't
yeah.
anything crazy. And so I put in a lift. So then that guy started coming, and next thing you know, it's like now I'm working on cars like all the time. And
Yeah.
so I thought this little light bulb went off, and I was like, you know what? If they're going to bring their parts here for me to install, maybe I should sell them the parts and install them too, right?
Yeah, there you go.
So I decided to start FD Motorsports with my friend Mark, and the rest after that, it grew in small increments. It's not something it's not an overnight success. You know, it just grew and grew and grew, and it went from.
So what's the timeline? Like, what was the year when you kind of started, like, you realized and you're like, I gotta start making this like my thing?
Probably 2006 and 7, 8 was starting to pick up pretty good. I started the LLC in 2009 when I was just like, this is just too good to not.
This is my thing.
Yeah, this is my thing,
Yeah.
and I'm not going to do anything else
Yeah.
with this now, you know. And luckily, my wife was. She has a good job, so she's pretty successful.
Nice.
So it allowed me a little.
Hero.
Yeah, it helped ease the
allowed
pain,
me,
right?
Yeah, it allowed me freedom that I could actually start
Yeah.
a fledgling business that wasn't making a ton of money at the time, and let it grow. The cool thing about it was, in 2008 and 9, and 10 and 11, when everything crashed around here, right? My welding, I was doing ornamental fencing work, and I was a contractor, and that was just going away. But the Porsche stuff it kept growing.
Really?
And I'm like,
The uptick.
Even during that time, huh?
these guys that have these cars have saved a little bit of pocket money, and they're still gonna work on their baby. They still want their car to be sweet, and they still want to work on it. And that was really, I'm like, and I started thinking, my wife, you know, we sat down, and she's like, well, if you can make this business grow when the economy's in the tank,
That's a very good point.
this is a great time to develop it and grow it, you know.
Because when everybody's rebounds, you're going to be the guy they want to go to.
So it was kind of an epiphany that she helped me find as well. I mean, she's always been very supportive of me, and so it just kind of strange. So when it went from one muffler every 3 months to one muffler every 2 months to 5 mufflers a month to 5 mufflers a week to 10 mufflers a week, and I'm getting orders from. I mean, I'm shipping like crazy.
And then Drew's calling you in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
I don't know how to install this, the goldenrod.
Sounds like somebody needs to make some YouTube tutorial videos.
You know what? I really do, and that's it's on my to-do list. It has been for a long time.
You need to crush it, dude. You would be so good at it.
Yeah, I really need to. Maybe if I had a friend that shot really good videos, could come up for a few days. And
Sounds like a date.
Help me with that. Yeah, I'd even feed him.
Exactly.
I guess time
Put
for
him to
road
work.
trip.
Put him to
Road
work.
trip.
Exactly. Yeah, that's awesome, man. That's such a like awesome organic success story.
Yeah,
like it's kind of a cool like you said, it wasn't something you intended to do.
And trust me, I'm no business mogul. When it comes to the business end of it, that's where I struggle the most. When it comes to the building and the doing, that's what I can do.
Yeah.
But the rest of it gets a little crazy.
It's just one of those things, huh? I just think it's one of those. I like I said,
Aaron, tilt your head back again.
I don't know. It's like feedback right now.
Something sketchy.
Yeah.
Can you put your arm up and your?
Yeah, it's talking crazy. I don't know what's going on.
Drew's phone attached to the wire?
Oh, it was.
my gosh! Hey, dude.
Yeah,
Got it.
we're not cutting any of that out. That's the way it goes.
That was a great call.
That's
Good job.
crazy.
That's the tech guy.
is on it.
To
The
Aaron.
white guy, a bunch of Asian dudes here called it.
The tech guy. The tech guy got it.
Your IT guy was
Yeah.
on that.
Yeah, he was all
He
over
was
it.
on
Your phone,
He's
bro.
like, your phone's stupid.
Your
love
text messaging.
I love
Quit
it.
screwing around over there. You're on a podcast. But that's an awesome success story. I mean, that's kind of really cool because, you know, for a lot of people out there that are kind of fighting to try to do something, and sometimes it's right under your skin. You don't even know it. Like, you just do something you're passionate about, and it just kind of like spirals into something, right?
Yeah, it's super cool. That's the great thing about this country, man. I mean, you can, you know, if you can dream it, you can do it.
Yeah.
I didn't really dream it. I developed it over the years, but
the ass kind of happened.
yeah.
You know, we had a guest on, you know, like he was Obsessed Garage, Matt Mormon. He's a detailer guy, and he was kind of one of these guys that he didn't make his own detailing stuff, but like, I guess he was so particular about what he put on his 911, and people were like asking him over and over again, what do you use? What do you use? What do you use? So he just started a channel. I was like, this is the stuff I use.
Awesome.
And then he figured out, he was like, maybe I should sell this stuff. Like, you know, he just distributes it. You know, he's not like actually making it, but he's just like, well, maybe I'll just pick all the good stuff that I like, and I'll just make a website, and people go to my website and buy it.
There you go.
And, you know, next thing you know, 4 years later, he's crushing.
I think if you're passionate about something, and it shows, and thank goodness for the internet, right? I mean,
That's true.
yeah, the internet has opened the world
Yeah.
to us. I mean, it seriously has. I mean, I've been shipping stuff to Estonia, Dubai, Russia. There are 993s in Russia, boys. I want to tell you.
Really?
Yes, that are running around with Fister Stage 3s.
I believe
Tearing
it.
up- tearing
All
up
the
Red
cars
Square.
should have
Yeah.
Fisters, bro. Like, I got to tell you, I've had this conversation with people where, especially the ultimate, God, I want a brain fart today. I've been running around everywhere. But the ultimate purist, they're like, oh, the car's perfect out of the factory. And my thing is like, it really isn't. Like when I drive a stock car, I almost feel empty.
Yeah.
Like, and like I said with earlier, is when I installed that exhaust, it really changed the car up for me. And I'm coming from where I come from Japanese cars. I never even put exhaust on my cars because I hate the way 4-cylinder exhaust sound.
Yeah.
They sound so ricey.
Brap.
And it wasn't. Yeah. It's so man, it's just so not cool. But it wasn't until like I put his stuff on, I was like, yo, this tone is awesome.
Yeah.
And it's so good. And inside the car, I have my wife, my son with me, and the exhaust was annoying from the inside. I would have been like, yo, I gotta sell this. It's not working.
Mm-hmm.
On the inside, it just feels so great, sounds great, and on the outside, it just sounds mean.
Oh yeah.
I remember
It's
the first
the
time.
business.
Yeah, I remember we're in downtown LA. I had my buddy Jason drive my car around the block because I was filming, and when he drove by, I was like, "Damn, whose car is?" I had forgotten because it was a line of cars.
Uh-huh.
I was filming. I was like, "Dude, whose car is that?" And I was like, "Dude, that's my car."
Yeah.
And I didn't realize it because I never heard it from the outside.
Yeah.
Oh, when I came down, when Jill and I came down for the Zuffenhausen thing at was it Santa Anita? Is that where it was?
Yeah.
And we were going back to the hotel, and you were behind me, and you drove by, and you like redlined it right behind me. Oh my, dude, the hair still stands up.
He's like, oh
That's
my
just-
God.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, it's so crazy because when I actually reached out to Darin at the time, I didn't know how great any of it was going to be, to be honest. I just reached out to him just to say, hey, look, just to meet somebody,
Yeah.
And then when I got it, it was like, I remember the first time we're inside my buddy's garage, my buddy Lee's shop, and we turned it on and we're like, dude,
Change.
it sounds dope.
Changed my life.
It sounds dope, man.
That was before Drew was famous. So when he called me, I'm like, excuse me, what's your name?
Yeah.
Drew, who? Who are you
Yeah.
again?
What?
Yeah.
When did I ship those out? When did I ship those out to you? Did you buy them off someone else?
But I gotta tell you, the other biggest thing to me was the shifting point, because I had the S shifter, which was the really high one, and
It's a tractor.
oh god, it was so bad. I complained the whole time I owned that car. In the beginning, I was like,
These throws are so long.
oh my god.
Yeah.
I complained the whole time. I was like, look, I'm not really happy. I'm almost willing to sell it. And at the time, 964s were just like that pocket for me. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna give Darin's stuff a chance. I'm sure, because I was talking to my buddy Rex, who had his stuff, and then I was talking to a couple of my other buddies who had the bigger CAE stuff.
Yeah.
I was thinking about maybe going that route, but that's kind of
CAE is
obnoxious.
like this tall
Yeah,
and-
you're shifting up here, and
Yeah.
it looks just crazy.
Yeah.
And I wasn't going for a crazy look. And Rex was like, dude.
You weren't going for the F boy.
Good thing I didn't. Thanks, Rex, for the recommendation. So, yeah, and ever since I put it in, it just, as soon as I got in, I was like, yo, this is the one.
This is a spot.
This is where it needs to be.
You see, all this stuff is just stuff that I built for my car.
Yeah.
The things that I wanted to change with my car, and that's where all this stuff came from. It wasn't.
But that's the best thing, because
I need
you
to
saw
market something.
you saw shortcomings, and you were like, I just want this to be better because this sucks.
Yeah, exactly.
And you had the skill set to make it better, though, because you have that welding background, you have all that knowledge, and you were just like, I can do this. This isn't that difficult. Like, this isn't some intricate thing. Like, I can do this.
Yeah, I have I have the original goldenrod that I built for my car. I have the piece of it left in my shop. It's in the display case. It's a far cry from what it is now.
Yeah.
It's way more refined and way nicer now, but I like to look back on that and say.
But there's so many few people that are making like a short shifter for the 993, and it's like,
yeah, it was kind of like a hole in the market that nobody really.
And you saw that, and not that you wanted to take advantage, but like you probably were like a lot like us, and when our story I always tell like about the podcast, there wasn't an all Porsche podcast. I was tired of listening to, maybe a comedian and hearing something a little bit about a Porsche on it too, because I'm sitting in my office, I fly a desk my 9 to 5, and normally I listen to something in the background, and I was just tired to be like, I don't care about what this guy's life is going on. Like, I want to hear about car stuff.
Yep. Yeah. Exactly.
And it's like we're just like, we actually did the research. I was like, is there anybody doing this? Because it's not like we wanted to do this. I just wanted to listen to it.
Right.
And like maybe something, I'm not speaking for you, but like if there was a short shifter that was in existence that was good, maybe you would have just bought it and just put it on your car, and you're like, okay, cool. But since it didn't exist, you were just like, you know what? I just need to do this, man. Like,
I think, but that's part of the problem too, is that before maybe the influx of younger generation kids or somebody who actually likes to drive like Darin, is that I think people kind of get into this notion like, oh, the factory had it perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And my thing is, like, I just interviewed Benjamin Dimsum recently, and that went really amazingly, and there's a lot of stuff when that video comes out. You guys will learn a lot about 964s that you guys did not know of.
That's my hero.
Dude,
that's cool.
It's super cool. But here's the thing, what a lot of people don't realize is that,
quick plug, not to cut you off, when's that going to drop?
You know what? I was going to drop it last Sunday,
Uh-huh.
but I realized that the video is much bigger than I had anticipated, and there's components of that I want to add to it to really level it up.
Okay.
So there's going to be a little bit of a delay because I'm trying to make it a little bit extra special.
Okay.
Obviously,
As you
FD
should.
is a great sponsor of ours. What's up,
Yeah.
Bruce? So the other thing too is that what's really important for me is that there's a lot of things that designers want to do that they can't do because of politics within the company. They're like, hey, look, our budget doesn't allow for that.
That's right.
100%.
And so when I was talking to Benjamin, there was a lot of questions I had with the 964. I mean, you guys are going to be blown away by this interview. But what I'm trying to say is that there are certain things that they might have said with the shifter, and they're like, yo, maybe this isn't right for this car. But they were like, hey, look, you know what? We just go with
it's one of those things where it's almost like, in engineering, you gotta play for the masses, right? Almost kind of like anything we do. Like, they're like, hey, your product sucks. That there's this one thing that's wrong with it. Or, hey, why don't you make more videos? And what's wrong with you? Oh, your podcast sucks. It's like, that's a very small demographic, right?
There's one of you.
So it's like, you got to play for the masses, right? You got to shoot for like the 90%, not the 10% of the people that are going to be pissed about it. So it's like, I think, to support what you're saying, Drew, I think it's a little of that where it's like, well, if I put a short shifter in here, people are going to get in there, and the people that were buying the cars, let's be real, or like in the 90s were probably affluent dentists, doctors.
The 993 was the first 911 that they put the giant rubber square in the shift rod. 964s didn't have it.
Yeah.
None of the previous cars had it.
That's true.
So they really tried to soften it up, I think, with the 993. I think their demographic
Look, he's over there like fuming.
I think it probably
I
was.
agree.
The demographic was changing.
Because they were catering to their population of the people
Doctors,
they were buying.
Lawyers,
Exactly.
they want a nice little smoother, squishy little shifter.
Exactly. The car, and even in the suspension of the car, it was a softer ride, right?
That's right.
Like you could speak from experience. You have a 964 and a 993. You've had both, Drew, and you guys have both said the parallels between the cars are significant.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was just at Singer yesterday. We're at Singer yesterday. We're talking about
Goose.
Not I was just
we.
But
Wait,
they were talking about
there.
suspension yesterday.
We.
Well, you should have came down earlier.
That's right. We would have had you in.
You want a little tidbit on that whole thing?
Mm-hmm. Tell us, Darin.
Every Singer that's come off the line, except for the lightweight one that they do now, that $1 million one.
Yeah.
I don't know if I should say this. It's not supposed to be private. But
Okay.
every Singer has my SSK and goldenrod in it.
Boo-boo!
There's no logos on them. It's all logo free. I have to strip it all down.
That just happened.
Don't tell nobody.
Yeah.
Singer level.
Yeah, but that's just between us, right? This isn't going.
No, that's
okay. Good.
I think
Good.
there's like
This is-
200 people that listen to this
This
show,
is
so it's
private-
not that big of a deal.
This is private information.
Don't
yes.
tell nobody, guys.
Yes. Don't worry. Like that will get out 5 years from now because
okay.
there's like 200 people that listen
All
to
right.
us, so it won't matter.
Good. Okay.
This is inside
just wanted to-
information.
I just
for
wanted to-
Exactly. Just in case
wanted-
for you 200 that are listening, that just happened. But that's awesome, though.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
really
it's pretty
cool.
And
I
I
mean-
think going back to all of that is that once you have driven a car that feels proper, like to me, it doesn't feel like when I drive the car and go, oh my God, it's you get in race cars and you're just like, oh my God, it's work.
Mhm.
To me, the way he has it set up is like perfect.
Yes.
The way it's set up, you know what I'm saying? Like that's to me that's the default.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not even asking for extra.
Yeah.
I'm just like, this is just hit the standard.
Just fix the shortcoming. Seriously.
That's just me, But when I hear people, they're like, oh, no. Why would you lower a car? Why would you, fix the shifter? Blah, 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 blah. And it's like,
because it makes it better.
Yeah.
That's why.
And I was like, maybe you haven't driven a lot of cars. I've owned 32 cars. I've driven all sorts of cars.
Dang.
I know what I like. You know what I'm saying? And, there's some Civics and
Crazy-
Dodge Caravans in there. You know what I'm saying? Dodge,
Wait,
they're
those
all
don't-
cars.
Those don't even count.
He's like, there's some mopeds in there,
Hey, my 91 Civics counted, all right? No, but it's what I'm trying to say is I've driven a lot of different types of cars, and I know a type of car that I like. I've driven, like, for example, BMWs have a certain type of feel, and for me, it's not something that I relate with, and I've driven a lot of them, and I'm just like, hey, look, BMWs have their own feel, and that's just not me. And so as I go along, I know as you drive more car, you figure out what works for you. Maybe you like long, lazy shifts.
Yeah.
I mean, if you do, then that's probably why we're not friends.
Yeah. So circling back, Darin, like your history with Porsche, like how did you become passionate about Porsche? Like how did you get into that?
You know what? My dad was always a car guy, and he worked on cars. He painted cars, motorcycles. So I've grown up. I was born in Southern California. So SoCal. I moved out. We moved up north when I was 9, so I didn't live there for that long. But when I was a kid, my dad had me when he was 18. So my dad was very young when I was a little kid. So he was still into his own thing.
Yeah.
He was never into European cars though. He was an American car guy. So I don't know where the Porsche passion came. I remember just kind of really liking them, and I remember as a kid I had the Porsche poster on my wall, the red 944 with the blonde lady on it.
That's
not
cool.
wearing any
I remember
clothes.
that.
My mom was like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "I love the car."
She's like, "Yeah, right."
Yeah. But it just stuck with me. Porsches have always just been on my mind for I don't know why. I can't explain exactly why I've been drawn to them. And then as I got older and became, was a fabricator and engineer and things, it just really opened my eyes to the design and just the way they build things in Germany. It just drew me in, man.
It spoke to you.
Yeah,
Speaks to the
it really
engineering
did.
side is what
It
it
really
gets
did.
to.
Yeah,
my
that's probably
my last name's Pfister. It was Pfister,
Ah.
which is German, but I don't claim that as to be anything special. But maybe that's part of in my blood. I don't know. But
it could have been.
It's just something that I fell in love with.
That's awesome.
Fell in love with.
So let's talk about
still in love with
the ones that you have. You have a beautiful 993. I love your 993.
I have two 993s.
Yeah. The Polar Silver, the coupe.
Oh, yeah. So that's my flagship car. That's the car. That's the first Porsche I ever bought. By the way, I was going to buy a 74 911T when I was 17.
Really?
It was for sale for $7,500.
Oh.
And I was stretching my budget, and I brought my dad to look at it with me.
What a story that would have been.
Oh my gosh. It was orange. It was awesome.
Ooh.
And my dad didn't like it,
Uh-huh.
because he's not a European guy. He was like, "This is way too much
Engine's
money."
in the wrong
You know,
spot.
you know how much this car cost when it was brand new? It was $4,000. And I'm like, well, yeah, whatever. So the guy, I made the agreement to buy the car, and he couldn't get it to pass smog. And I was 17, and I was all the money I had in the world to buy it, and he couldn't get it to pass smog. And I'm like, this is if he tweaks it somehow and gets it past smog, and I buy it and I can't get it past smog,
I'm screwed.
I will not be able to fix it.
I'm
right?
screwed.
I have no money.
Yeah.
I'm broke.
Yeah.
I live with
now
my
I don't.
parents.
Yeah. Now I don't have a
Yeah.
transportation.
So I passed it up, and I ended up buying a muscle car, which I loved, but it never.
But it was kind of one of the
It
ones.
never
That
left
maybe
me.
it was like the one that got away, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I
And then
always
that
look
stuck
back
with
on
you,
that.
yeah.
Yeah. And so when I ended up getting my 993, that was my first one I ever got, and that's what I started developing product for, and that's where everything blossomed out of. Was that. Yeah. And I still have that car, and that is my workhorse. I still love that car.
Yeah, it's a beautiful car.
Yeah.
I love all the touches that you've done with that
Yeah,
thing.
it's subtle. It's not over the top crazy, but
Yeah.
narrow body, which I love.
Yes.
Everybody's like, "Oh, you got to get a wide body." It's like, no way,
No.
man. What'd they build the RS on?
Exactly.
Narrow body.
That's
Exactly.
Right. What were the cop cars?
Narrow
body. That's
Why?
right.
Because they're faster. They go
Yeah.
through the air faster.
Yeah. So I've just been a narrow body guy always, and just something I love. But yeah, that car has a big place in my heart.
Yeah. Now, is it Miami blue, the cage? Like, I know the calibers are a different color. What color is
Yeah, the calipers are. Funny story about that. I had redone mine in red. They were the regular brakes that come on the C2.
Uh-huh.
And I repainted them in red. They were all nice. Well, I have a friend of mine who races, and he was racing his 993, and he wanted to drop down a class. And to drop down a class, he had to go to smaller brakes. He couldn't run the big brakes. So he called me and he said, "Hey, you got really nice brakes on your car." He goes, "Well, I'm going to switch them out on my race car." He goes, "I have big reds." He said, if I'll just trade you straight up." He goes, if I can come to your shop and then you do the labor," he goes, "and I'll even help you." He goes, we'll just trade them out.
Nice.
And then,
Nice.
Of course, that took me all of about
Yes.
2 seconds to agree to.
Exactly.
Then you hear about, "Oh, you don't need big brakes on the street. They're heavier. They're this, that." I'm whatever. It's like,
You're like, whatever.
Yeah, I was
like, you know how much those go for?
I like big brakes, and I cannot lie.
Hey.
There you go.
So he brought them over, and of course they were on a race car, so they were pretty tattered when I got them. So I said, "This is not going to work. I got to fix these babies up." So I was going to paint them, and there was a guy on Renlist. I think his name's Bradford, and he has a 993 turbo that's polar silver, and he did the brakes in blue, and it caught my eye, and I just was in love
You're
with
like,
it.
that's perfect.
And I'm like, that's what I'm doing. Yeah. So I ended up, they're kind of like a Mexico blue.
Okay.
I'll share a little secret on that as well. I tell everybody they're Mexico blue, but truthfully, it's the Mustangs in about 2005.
Like a petty blue?
No, they came out with the blue. I can't remember what it's called, but it's a Mustang.
Okay.
Hugger blue. It's
Hugger
called
blue. Hugger blue.
So it is Hugger blue. Because I was looking through, they don't have that color, right? I'm like, that's the color. It's very similar, and it's going to be on brakes. You'll never know. So I said, "Give me that one." So I ordered that one and put them on, and now there's been quite a few guys have done that color.
Yeah.
So it's kind of neat.
It pops. It goes good
I
on the
love
silver.
I love it.
Yeah.
It's, purists look away, but that's okay.
What are purists?
I don't even know what that is.
Nah,
you know what? I love everybody. That's the thing. I love purists because if you're going to keep your car absolutely original forever, and that's what your love is and your passion is, then I say more power to you. But that's not me, and that's not a lot of my friends.
Yeah.
So also I look at the other side of the coin. I love people that are just passionate about their cars, whether they're purists or whether they like to do aftermarket stuff. It doesn't matter to me. I love cars.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a very, very good point.
There's a whole big people, so many people bash the RWB thing and all that. And I've been to builds, and I have a lot of my exhausts are on those cars, and I met Nakaisan and all that stuff. And it's a trippy.
That's cool. They're running your exhaust on those cars?
Yeah, some of them over in Asia and stuff. It's really cool. But I kind of dig it. I really dig it. I don't know if I do it to one of my cars personally, but I have friends that have done it, and I say more power to them.
Yeah, I can appreciate all levels of everything.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing, though, is that I don't really have a problem with purists in general. It's just usually when people start getting snobbish about certain things,
that's what I'm saying.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
And
It should just be all love.
More
right?
love, baby, more love.
Exactly.
Seriously.
I
We all
agree.
love.
I agree.
We're all in this for the same thing.
I almost feel like, and not to steal your thunder, Drew. I think maybe this is where you're going with it. But some of the guys that are like super purist, right? Like, and purist ride height, all that kind of stuff. Like, they almost think they're another level above somebody who mods a car, right? They're like, "Oh, you modded your car. Like, don't talk to me."
Yeah.
Like,
whatever.
They're like, "You must be the help." You know what I mean? Like, you serve me.
It's all about the attitude.
And I'm saying
it's all about the attitude and the
it
love. And if you have love for everybody, and especially car guys, man. I mean, seriously, we're all car guys.
Yeah.
So.
No, people get really personal though. Like,
do.
oh my god, I've seen so many people get just outraged just over some mod.
Yeah.
And it's like, yo, relax.
Your
bro.
car? No,
Like,
not your car.
And then
Not
you find
your
out they're
car.
13. I just saw something this morning. This kid was ranting. I forgot what I saw. This guy was calling this guy out and says, "Dude, you're such a disgrace, blah, 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 blah."
Wow.
And then somebody goes in comments. He's like, "Bro, are you even 12?" I look on his page. He goes, "I'm 13."
Okay. Sorry.
That's
Sorry,
the thing
I
about
didn't
the
mean to-
internet. Once again, is like everybody's an expert.
Internet
Everybody's
tough
got
guy.
a voice.
Yeah.
And it's
I
like,
read Wikipedia.
yeah, it's like,
I feel this.
oh my gosh, bro. Like,
It's like, come on, bro.
and that's just the thing with me. It's always, it's not what you say, it's how you say it.
I
Yeah.
agree.
And
Absolutely.
if you don't like something, it's all good. Like, nobody expects you to like everything. But if you go walk around and you go, "God, why would you do that? You suck." Like, you have a lot of friends, bro. Like,
I think it says a lot about your character if you're open to
Yeah.
all facets of things,
Sure,
right? Like, where
absolutely.
you can see, like, I could see why you would like that, or I can see why that works for you, but that doesn't work for me. But I can see that, that's
Sometimes I don't even see why they would like that, but it's okay.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
But
it's cool.
the common ground is that they like cars, though, right? And that's what we're all kind of into. Like, you like the cars, and that's what the common bond is.
yeah, I think just in general, it's just about. I think it's just life in general. There's differences.
Yeah.
And it's okay to be different. Once again, like,
Yeah.
if we all had the same exact look,
Yeah.
like you might as well just go to dealerships for me.
I was just about to say that.
Yo, let's just go look at some brand new GT3s.
Yeah. Let's go to the assembly line.
Yeah.
Because
like
that's what we got out here.
yeah, bro.
Exactly.
Like, I love hearing the story about him, how you got big reds for free.
I know.
That's pretty amazing.
And help to put them on.
Right?
Yeah.
and God, not only will give them to you for free, I'll help you install them. What? Like, who pulls a move like that?
What? It's Porsche friends, man.
Yeah.
Porsche friends. We all have them.
Amen.
We
Cheers
all
to
have
that.
Yeah, cheers to that, man. Like,
We
for
all
real,
have
for
man.
real,
Like,
for real.
Amen.
I'm far away, but
I'm far right.
Chick, chick.
Yeah.
Ching.
Yeah, but for real.
so have you ever looked for another 74 911G since then?
I have not. I have not. I do have a line on possibly a long hood. I don't know if my budget can pull it, so you guys really like my silver car, maybe. So
Yeah.
Oh dang! Your first car?
Not the coupe,
Yeah.
the cabrio, right?
No, that's my blue one. My
Really? You're gonna sell that?
maybe. I don't know.
Uh-oh.
I would for something. Here's the thing: is like I'm not a wealthy guy. I don't have a 10-car garage. I got a 2-car.
That's not what I heard.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Those are
I'm just joking.
lies.
Just joking.
It's the internet, bro. It's all real.
I'm rich. But
Somebody wrote a page on me on Wikipedia and told them I was a millionaire. Who did this?
I am rich, but I am not monetarily rich. I'm rich with my
Amen.
friends and my family, and
I'd
those
much rather
type of
be that way
things.
too.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Me too. But I have too many cars now, so one of them usually has to be at the shop, and I don't like keeping a car at the shop.
Mhm.
You know, I was moving in and out, and there's a lot of stuff going on
Yeah.
at the shop. So customer cars. So I try not to keep a car at the shop. So, anyways,
So hey, if you're out there and you want to buy a car,
it's not for sale yet.
holler at
First dibs.
Yeah.
start making him offers he cannot refuse on Instagram.
It would be a piece of FD history. Piece
Yeah.
of my history.
That's-
Yeah.
Hey, we
Yeah.
just saw Rob Dickinson's first #1 yesterday.
We did.
man.
We
That
did.
was
Yeah.
going for a pretty penny.
Yes,
Yeah.
we did
Oh,
see
yeah.
that.
He's the singer. I should be drummer because I was a drummer too.
There
so
you
I should-
go.
Mine
Nice.
should be drummer.
Yo,
I'm
I'ma patent that.
He's like, damn you, Mike.
yeah, I'm gonna patent that. We're gonna build cars. We're gonna patent that.
Make a rock
Drummer.
I think I've been a musician my whole life.
Or how funny would this
professionally,
be? A play on that lead singer. Oh,
Ooh,
then you know the #1 car, right?
so. Then it might be. You might read it as lead singer though, and it might not work.
Maybe if you're
Let's just stick with drummer.
European. Yeah.
But I've been a musician forever, right? So music's been in my ears, my brain. My wife always gets on me because I'm always like tapping on it.
Thumping on stuff.
Yeah, and she's like, "What song's in your head now?"
Yeah.
You know. But
I thought you just had ADD or
so I think that's partially
Got
why
like a
that.
nervous twitch.
Well, a little bit of that maybe, but I think that's why the sound to me was always so important. You know, it was something that I really strove to achieve was that tone,
There
that
it is.
rumble. You know, that rumble like the
Yeah.
floor tom and the
Yeah.
kick drum. You know, triplet.
Now
You
it's
know what I
start.
mean?
Now you're tying
Yeah.
it together. Thank
Yeah.
you for telling us. Now it makes sense
Yeah.
why you're like you got this. Just doesn't sound right, man.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yep.
So I want to talk about your beautiful 964.
Yes, absolutely.
Must be nice. I just want to start off by saying
Yes,
that.
What
I
do you
can't
must
even-
be nice. You came and did. When I was driving
I
that
know.
home, I stopped by. Who did I go to see?
We did.
Exactly.
We had some
Who did I
crazy
go to
food
see?
that was bomb.
Yeah,
Dude.
they did
buddy
a photo
Drew.
shoot.
My buddy Drew. Who did I go by to see?
That was
Yeah, a
awesome.
little video photo shoot. I remember
That
seeing
was-
that car.
You were the
Like, it was
first person
beautiful.
to see us in that car.
Yeah, that was
Right.
awesome.
That's right.
They did a road trip from Texas.
I know he told me
That's-
that. I remember them. I remember when he bought
Yeah.
that car. Like
Yeah.
it was his 30th anniversary, right?
Hi,
That's
Rudy.
right. That is right. It was my wife and
up,
I.
Rudy?
It was our 30th anniversary, and I made a deal with my buddy Rudy, Mr. 993. If you're out there, props, buddy. But
Thank you, Rudy.
yeah, so I was actually looking for a car. I wanted a beat up one, an older one, cheaper one,
Yeah.
you know, so that I could mess around with. I wanted to develop an exhaust for it. And Rudy's my go-to guy, so I'm like, I could call him up, say, hey man,
You've bought like 70 of my exhausts.
Yeah.
So
I think they're on all of his. I think they're on all of his 993s, which I appreciate and love. You know that term "rutified"? That's
Yeah.
part of it. He's got to have
Exactly.
extra exhaust on it. But
I like your style, Rudy. And by the way, Rudy has the same radio. We talked about this. We have the same Alpine radio. He puts on all his cars.
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah.
he does. I mean,
that's cool.
Nice.
I like.
so
your
I
style.
called him and I said, hey, if you got a line on an old beat up one or something, let me know because I'm looking to buy one. And he goes, well, I don't know if you want any crazy color ones, but I goes, I'm going to put a couple of mine up for sale. And I said, I said, send me some pics. Let me know what you got.
Yeah.
So he sent me a cobalt blue one, which was beautiful, which was super sweet.
Yeah.
Too much money. He sent me.
Is that one that had like the lime green calibers or no?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Yeah,
no. And then it was what's his other? He has another red one. Like I think he calls it cake red or something like that. But yeah. And then he sent me the amethyst one.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And
I know.
I'm looking through the pictures.
You chose.
I go to my wife and I'm showing her and I'm like, "What do you think of this?" She's like, "Is it purple?" And I said, "Well, it's amethyst." She's looking at it.
Is it purple?
She's like, "I'm not a Porsche person.
Yeah.
Is it purple?" Yes, it's purple.
Well, it looks purple in the pictures and however you take it. But yeah, so she was like, "Ooh, I think I like that one." And I said, "Rudy, we want this one." So we struck up a deal, and I said our 30th anniversary is coming up. We'd like to fly out, pick up the car, and then drive it home. Our daughter lives in San Diego. We'll stop and see Drew.
Yeah. Get some Korean food.
Yeah, get some Korean food. So yeah, it was an epic trip, amazing trip. After we did it, my wife's like, "We need to do that again."
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
By the way, that same day, Jill was like, "I need a white one."
Yeah.
And we're like, "I like your style."
Yeah.
Let's look right away. That's what we called Tarek, and we're like, "Yo."
Actually, I remember that because you guys were talking about in the video, and she's like, "I like this," and she was like pointing at the white. You're like, "Oh no!"
That was the one. That was his car at the time, but Timmy had his eye on it. So Timmy's like, "No, don't buy that one."
Yeah,
bidding war. But,
yeah.
So, anyways,
and by the way, Tim's very happy, and I have to say,
awesome.
when your exhaust came out, I was telling Tim like, "Yo, there's a bunch of I don't want to call out certain brands, but there's some exhausts out there." I'm just like, "Yo, like a lot of people are running this exhaust, but it doesn't really sound that great."
Subpar.
And then when he had announced that he was gonna at Rennsport that he was gonna,
I was there when he did that up on the hill when you were like revealed it.
Yeah,
that was awesome.
That was fun.
Yeah.
I was crying because I was at home listening to it on my phone. I was like, "It sounds like the 988." How did he do it?
Yeah,
and then he's like, "I should have."
Drew was supposed to come, and
Drew's like, "Why did I go to Car Week and not Rennsport?" I was bashing it too.
You go too.
I was hitting him up too, and I go, "Look, even if I was like, I know it's not about money with you. I know it's last minute. We have an extra bedroom. Just stay at the house we're renting at. Just come up." He's like, "Man, I'm so tired from Car Week."
We were between my wife and my son. We were so beat from Car Week. And we went to San Francisco after, and we're just like, "Dude, we're gonna do this again in 3 weeks." And
you should just Ubered up. How much would Uber from Chino Hills to Monterey? It couldn't be that much.
I mean,
no problem.
In hindsight, I guess that was a foolish mistake.
Yeah, you missed a good time. It was fun. Rennsport was crazy.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Good times.
So awesomely, like Darin does, he gets something and he's like, "Hey, this isn't exactly right. Like this isn't the way it." So he got the 964. And he prototyped his own car, and he put his magic on the exhaust, and now there's a Pfister exhaust for the 964, right?
That is correct. Yeah.
And it sounds like
mean
the rest of them. Like, how does he do it? That is sorcery. Like, no joke. He's taken different generations, and between 997s and 993s,
it's mean.
They all has that. They have that sound.
And the great thing about it is too, it's like it. There's no funkiness to it. It all bolts up like it's supposed to bolt up, and like nobody's none the wiser.
Yes. Yeah, since I develop off of the factory parts, that's what keeps the fitment perfect and excellent every time. It's not an aftermarket piece that you're always trying to finagle, and you got to cut pieces.
And we've all been there. If you're car guys, and how many people have like, "Yo, I think they sent me the wrong part." We've all been there, right? Like in the garage underneath the car.
This can't be right. When did they develop this?
Bolts right up, huh?
They're like, it's 3 inches away from the hanger. Like,
I don't know if they get like a wrecked, if they get a wrecked car and then they build that car to fit it.
You're like, "Yo, am I doing this wrong?"
It must be me, right?
Like, and I know you guys all feel us on that because we've all been, if you're a car guy, it doesn't matter what car you're talking about. If you've ever done that, we've all been there like, I know I'm not crazy, man. I know I'm not crazy.
Welding was not on the tool list.
Yeah.
It's crazy. My Toyota truck, the handle broke. And I went online. I was like, you know what? A brand new part's like $110, but the generic was like $15. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna be Asian and be cheap.
Yeah.
Buy the $15
Save some dollars.
I spent 3 hours, cut my finger, still didn't work. I threw it away and I bought an OEM one anyway. So I'm like, all right.
Lesson learned.
Lesson learned.
I had to learn that lesson every time though.
You're like, damn, Drew, quit being Asian.
No, bro.
Unless you buy the part from FD Motorsports, and they
Good
fit.
point.
You need to make some Toyota parts then.
Exactly, right? And that's that. I mean, that's one of the reasons why we love you so much, because of like you take that step. You could have got that 964 and you could have just made that just for you and just like, you know what, I'm not interested in this. We're busy as is, but you're just like, you did a reveal at Rennsport, and everybody was like, oh my God, like going nuts. And like, it just sounds so, so good. So if you guys out there with 964s, you definitely need to buy that exhaust for your car. There's no doubt that in my mind you will be blown away.
Actually, I just want to state for the record that 964s are actually terrible. Don't buy any. And
it's too late for that, Drew. You can't shift the market.
Dude, I've gotten so many DMs probably in the last 3 months from people saying, hey, look, you've helped kind of solidify my decision by 964s. I'm like, oh, good. I just totally
great.
Screwed myself
Yeah,
over.
I heard you on Mike's podcast
Yeah.
talking about how you wanted to get another one, and then I heard you again saying about it. Like,
Yeah, it does suck because you're at the point where, you start to drive more and more of them, get more experience, and you're like, dude, this really is like, because I started with the 964, and so, like, you don't really know how great it is until you've driven a couple of bad apples, and you're like, oh,
well, I won't tell you what Kevin said earlier when I was outside, because he's a seasoned veteran in the Porsche world, and he literally said it. I didn't have to say it. He's like, this is the best like iteration of 911s of old and new. This is where it ends, right here.
Yeah, you know what? It's I've been a 993 diehard forever, and I love the 993, and that's what I used to think about the 993.
Mm-hmm.
But you go that one click back to the 964, and just tactile wise, the tactile differences between the two. It is, some of it subtle, some of it not so subtle, but I just really, really enjoy the 964.
I do too.
Yeah.
Drew's just feeling those prices
Hey,
sneak up.
Darin, high five. We both have one, right? Yeah.
We do.
Drew's like, fuck you guys,
Wait,
man.
don't you have one, Drew?
Drew, you got one, right?
Oh no, Drew sold his.
You know what? Bruce has a wide body Roadster America that's so sexy. I mean,
Jealous of that, Bruce.
dude,
I know.
I'm gonna carjack him one day for sure.
Yeah.
Change out the VINs. I mean, dude.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen a Roadster in person?
Not in person. Only
Bruce,
pictures.
Did you bring your Roadster? Did you bring your Roadster?
Did you bring the Roadster?
No, I brought my 60 cap.
You know what? He needs.
Okay.
Dude,
I
the
need to see that
Roadster,
thing.
It's so funny because you take a regular cab that nobody even looks at, and then you have the Roadster where like people are walking by and they're like, "Dude, what car is that?" And you're like, "That's a wide body cab."
Yeah.
And people are like,
What?
It is so sexy,
They look tough too,
Oh
man.
my
God.
They look real tough.
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah.
I have to say,
I know.
don't buy any. Oh, here comes Jared. Jared with his beautiful dark gray 964.
Oh yeah.
Do you know?
listen to Drew?
One of my favorites.
Yeah.
One of my favorites.
Yes, I love his car, man.
Yeah, me too.
He's just getting inundated with 964s.
Is that car wrapped?
No,
that's
it's
paint.
painted.
Oh,
That's
wow.
paint.
Give me a hug, dude.
Yeah.
Hey.
Come here, give me a hug.
Yeah.
What's up, brother?
What's up, bro? What's up, Jared?
How's it going?
Good, man. How are
man,
you?
good.
Car talk up
Yeah,
here.
what's up, man? What's up?
You brought your beauty outside?
I did.
All right, I'm gonna go look at it when we're
Yeah.
done.
We're
Yeah,
we're
man.
just talking about how terrible 964s are right now.
Yeah.
Drive down the market.
He's trying to talk. Yeah. He's trying to talk people out of it. It's not working.
Nobody should buy them.
Yeah.
Nobody should buy them.
I told hey Kevin, that's what I told him what you said earlier, and we were on the same page where he was like, Kevin's a seasoned Porsche guy, and he said this is the best blend of both worlds, old and new. It ends right here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yep. You cannot disagree with that.
Yeah.
You
The
cannot
swan is
disagree
out.
with
The
that.
swan is out.
It's it, man. You better just jump on the sword and buy one. Just pay up. It's over. You got to do it.
I love it. The video when I brought my car through town, and the video, and you're like, "You want to get in on 964? You better get on it now before it's too late." And you go, and then you go, "Actually, it's already too late." But
It's true. Actually, I was talking to a guy last night who, one of my followers, he said, "Yo, you really inspired me to get one." And I was like, "He's got a pretty clean one. He picked up a 91 C2." I was like, "What'd you pay?" And he paid.
bank.
Man, he paid
Serious
pretty.
bank?
Man, there's dudes out there paying big money for
Dude,
964s. Like
no
some dude paid like with 150,000 miles on a car. He paid like 70 for
Wow.
it. I mean, the car was clean, but I'm like, dude.
But 70.
Yeah.
You know who you need to make friends with is Tarek. That boy comes up with some.
Yes,
cars,
he does. He
man.
alwaes keeps coming up with
If
964s.
I'm
Big
gonna buy
shout out to
another
you,
one- if I'm
Tarek,
gonna
because
buy
you keep
another
coming
one-
up with them.
If I'm gonna buy another one, I'm going to Tarek because he gets the good stuff and he makes it right. And
You know what's funny?
You know you're going to be buying a car that's going to
Drew,
be
who
set up
lives
for that.
down here, right? Like, obviously, I'm in Florida.
Yeah.
But I text Drew stuff that he posts, like Drew doesn't know. Like I'm like, yo, you need to buy this. He's like, yeah, I know. I was like, I just can't help it. I'm just like, you got to get this. He's like, yeah, I know.
It's so funny because Tarek absolutely loves 964s. We have that obviously in common, but it's funny when he's finding these cars. I'm like, yo, bro, like really? Like you just picked up a '93 C2, just
just like
no problem.
just out of thin air, right? Like out of thin air.
Yeah.
It's so crazy, like the fact that this is happening on repeat with them. I'm like, you're like the luckiest guy I know because.
But he's crushing it, right? Like because it's always like one after another, right? Like one after another. You think it would end? You're like, okay, you had to find all of them.
Tarek is picky. Like he'll go and see a car and he's like, yo. Nah,
nope.
You say he's lucky. The phrase fits. The harder I work, the luckier I get.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, he's
You're
a hard-working dude.
He is
man.
hustling.
But you know what? The thing nowadays, though, you really got to be. I mean, not only do you have to hustle, you got to get lucky because these 964s are tough to find.
Yes.
People.
And
really,
people covet them too. That's exactly like we're obviously not talking prices, but like even Darin being boys with Rudy, we talked about it a little bit outside. Like he had to pay up to get that car. That wasn't free. That wasn't like the homie price. Like here you go. You can pay $25 for it, no problem.
Yeah.
The homie hookup is you're first in line.
Exactly. That was the homie hookup. That you got to buy it, right?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. No, I think he did me right.
Yeah.
I'm very happy with the agreement we came
No,
with.
I'm not trying to say like he fleeced you. I'm just saying it's like
No.
even at that level, like between friends, you're still going to pay up is what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah,
like that,
because there's value there.
Yeah.
I mean, the value's there.
It's a demand thing, right?
Yeah,
like it
absolutely.
is what it is.
Well,
like,
I sold my car 7 months ago. And I'm hurting because now I'm like, wait, I know I could get another 10 grand more, like, and I thought I got a good deal back then. So I'm like, oh, dude, there is no ceiling.
Well, that's the thing is you thought there was, and I thought there was too. I was like, it's got to end. It has to end, right? And like we talked about this back in Miami, right? Like when we were on the show about the guys in the 993 camp always said, no matter whatever happens, that 964 garbage will never surpass the price of a 993.
Yeah, guess what?
Yeah.
Well, guess what?
Time to check yourself or you wreck yourself, homie.
It's done. It's done it.
Yeah.
But I don't even know if that's really right because 993 is such a beautiful car, man.
You know what? And as of recently, since that's my only 911 now, and that's what I drive, I kind of have to adapt to it. But I think back in the day when I'm driving between different cars, you start to kind of lean towards one. Like, for example, the GT3 always felt right. And then I'll get into 993 and I always felt like, I had to kind of adapt to that driving style. But now that I'm only driving that, now it kind of is getting more natural.
Yeah.
But I think that your body starts to get used to like what you're used to.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Versus when
you get comfortable.
You get comfortable,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And now I can't. When I had enough cars, I couldn't drive any car right because you can't get used to any one car versus having only one car and then knowing how to drive that car.
Yeah, because when you drive, like you said it perfect. Like if you only had like a 964 or a 993 and that's what you drove nonstop, you understand all the little quirks in the car, right? You understand. You're like, oh, it doesn't like it between like 6 and 7. It wants to be all the way at 7 fast. Don't ride it between that. Or I'm just making up examples, but like you start to really get in tune with the car.
Yeah.
But then when you have like a fleet of cars, you're just like you said, you're cross shopping the car, and you can't do that.
I mean, just even like driving dynamics when it comes to like heel toe, I can't heel toe in any of my cars anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Back in the day, like in my S2000, like dude, it was on the money every turn. But now I get into it.
That car was made for people with the size feet of yours.
Exactly.
Oh.
Bro, that's why I wear adapters,
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
that's why I wear adapters on my pedal.
Yeah.
But the same
Jordans
thing
use size 7.
Exactly. Do you guys have some? But that's the thing with like driving dynamics is that in German cars, you have to drive them. You have to sidestep. You can't heel toe in those cars. So every time I get into, it, I'm like, yo, I didn't blip that turn. It's a different driving dynamic.
Yeah,
and
I failed on that one.
Yeah.
What I love about the older cars as opposed to like your newer cars, I've driven some new GT3s and stuff, and they're just like, mind-numbing fast.
Yes.
And they handle like
They're
on
perfect,
rails.
right?
Yep.
Yeah, but to enjoy that car, you have to be really going fast. You got to be really pushing that car.
I agree.
You get in a 993 or 964 on the same road at, I won't say half the speed, but almost half the speed.
Yeah.
And that sensation of speed, and that you're running that car a lot harder, and it's just that
It's a
adrenaline
smaller
rush.
car.
Yeah, to me, I really
It's the
love
pedal
that.
all the way in, right?
Yeah.
You can use all of the throttle, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, because Aaron and I recently drove a GT3 RS, and I'll tell you what, like in third gear, foot all the way in, it was in triple digits deep.
Oh yeah,
I was like,
quickly, like
I'm
in
like panicking,
seconds.
like just like flickering.
I'm
Like,
just going,
okay, shift, and it's like 150, 160. I'm like, this shouldn't be happening like this quickly.
Yeah, it's insanity. It's
Yeah.
a completely different thing.
Yeah, but with those older cars, I agree with you though, because like you can ring it out, right, and not be in trouble. Basically, like you can go out legally and run the car and just be like, wow, I'm rowing through the gears, and I'm foot all the way in at each shift, and I'm not like dangerously breaking the law.
Yeah, that's why I like naturally aspirated as well. I mean, I love the turbos. I love
Yes.
them. But
I knew I loved
if
you
I had
for a reason.
if I had a turbo, I would be in so much trouble because you're always into that boost, man. That's the feeling. I want that boost. I need that boost.
Yeah, because all you're just waiting to boost up, right?
Yeah, and that's what you're going for every time you drive that car. You need it. So
yeah,
I love the naturally aspirated stuff. Plus, everybody thinks they're a race car driver until you actually drive with the real race car driver, and then you realize
that I'm
really not as good as I thought I was.
Yeah, how lacking your skills really are.
Yeah, and I'm cool with that. I don't need to be like the fastest guy on the block.
Yeah,
I can enjoy myself in my own little skill set. Right.
Yeah, not here to show everybody.
And believe it or not, racing is an actual skill set, folks.
Oh yeah.
Just want to reiterate that because there's a lot of people who play video games and think that they can race.
Exactly. Right.
But guess what?
No,
you can't.
Yeah, you don't know how to hit that apex.
I do race, but I race. It's strictly amateur racing, and I know where my limits are, and that is off the hook fun. You get an old beater and get on the track.
I've heard that
racing. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it is amazing. Some of the funnest times you'll ever have.
I've heard I've heard a lot of people even tell me, they're like, just go get a Miata and just go out and like have fun at the track. Make it a track car and just go have fun.
I got my racing license at Laguna Seca in a Miata and an MX-5.
Nice.
That was some of the best fun driving I've ever had.
Yeah.
Laguna Seca, of course, you can't go wrong, right? In a Miata. And it was amazing. It was amazing. I love it.
That's awesome.
Hell yeah. And you know what? I want to reiterate the fact that lots of times when I was in high school, you couldn't drive certain types of cars. You were always just, fact reading and talking about horsepower and weight. But it's not until you actually drive cars and you're like, yo, there's a certain dynamic to driving that car versus this car.
Oh, yeah.
And, it's not about 0 to 60 times because that's what manufacturers always push.
Yeah.
Horsepower, 0 to 60.
Yeah,
and you get
it's a paper war, right?
It's a paper war, really. And at the end of the day, you realize, like, dang, I actually like driving this car because 300 horses is actually a pretty good number.
It's a balance.
It is. It totally is. And then, you know what? I love motorcycles as well. It's like going to the track in your 1000 Aprilia that's top of the line, and you're out there in your leathers and you're running the track. And you got some, 60-year-old dude in a 10-year-old 650 that passes you, and you're like, wow, my bike's
Did that just happen?
Yeah, because there's something about the skill too. I mean, you don't realize what it takes. I mean, a lot of guys think they have it, but man, it's a different ball game when you really can drive fast and that it's.
Yeah.
I mean, it'll blow your mind.
Exactly. When you not
difference.
personally, but I've like John Benton and guys like that, they're like, that's a momentum car, a 912 car. But like he was talking on the podcast, which I really enjoyed when he was saying, when going around the track, believe it or not, he's like, that car's balance is so much better. He's like, once we're all up at the same speed, I'm gonna go around you because you have to slow down when you go into your turn, and I don't.
You'll blow me on the straight with your horsepower, but when you get to the curves, I'm going to catch you.
Yeah, I'm going to take the inside on you because a car will handle better, and I can go deep. I can brake later.
Oh yeah,
and I can go in deeper into the hole. That sounds bad. I just realized that as I was saying that.
Does it really sound bad?
Yeah.
Oh, what about Porsches though?
Yeah, it's not an after dark podcast.
But what bikes, what's cool is that, like my buddy Will, he races all sorts of stuff. I went to his warehouse last week. And all his bikes, all the tires are shredded on the side. This guy is
he's
cornering.
Getting it. He's getting it.
The guy was talking.
It's like the center has all the patch,
exactly.
and like the sides are all worn down.
Those are called chicken strips.
Yeah.
So when you're a biker,
ride
a motorcycle. So if you look at a guy's tire and there's like 2 inches of non-used tire, then you go, oh man, you got 2-inch chicken strips on that thing.
He's getting it, huh?
Oh no, Chicken strips are when you don't get it.
Yeah, they're flat,
you're saying the flat side. Oh, I
The
see what you're
sides of
saying.
the tires are not worn.
Oh,
only-
okay. I
so
thought you were
know
saying
the
the
guy,
other
the
way
guy's not
around.
leaning the bike over.
Yeah, I thought you
Yeah.
were saying like the sides are worn and then the middle is like got all the
Nah.
That's the
the
guy.
meat on
That's
it.
where the chicken phrase comes in.
Oh,
because You're
okay.
scared to lean it over. Chicken
okay.
strips.
I
That's the
got
guy
it.
who's talking a lot, but his bike is saying something else.
Exactly.
His bike's like,
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. He's like, nah.
Yeah, bro, watch me.
He's
Yeah.
yeah.
yeah, man, I was leaning way in on my
He's-
knees, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this bike's got 180 horsepower.
Yeah. He's not a knee jerker, bro. No. Like, no. He's not putting the fairing into the ground.
No.
Trust me.
No.
So talking about speed, what do you guys think about the speed lines being the new E88s? I've
Hey,
seen
you
them-
know what? You know what?
Ah.
Actually, funny enough,
Hold on. Explain that again. Say it again.
I'm talking about the speed lines replacing. Everybody's putting E88s everywhere on everything, and now
Yeah.
it seems like the speed lines are taking a
For
turn.
which cars?
For it doesn't matter.
For most air cooled.
Yeah, air
Yeah,
cooled
most
cars.
air-cooled.
Like 964s, 993s.
Well, what's on my 993?
Those are the those
Mine-
are
Those
No.
are
those are Speedline 993
they're T
tar,
yeah.
I forgot the actual term Tremonts or something.
No.
No, those are
on
like-
my car.
No, I think that's what the name of the Speedline variant is. I'm sorry, fact
Yeah.
checking it, but the ones that you have, they're 5-spokes, aren't they? With the
Yeah,
the spine in the
they're
middle.
the true speed lines.
Yeah. So
Or speed lines.
so we're talking about the 964 Speedlines.
Gotcha.
So the Fat Fives.
Gotcha.
Basically.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they're cup the
don't
cup
call
the
them
cup
Fat
speed
Yeah,
lines.
the
yeah.
cup
yeah,
the
yeah.
cup 3 pieces.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So right now, like E88s were obviously very big, and they are still very big. But right now, as of funny enough, I bought 2 pairs of the RHs, and so actually, funny enough, a couple years ago when my buddy Rex, he's got all sorts of wheels, and our group of guys have my buddy Dan, who's the oldest in the group, that calls everybody wheel whores because he's like looking at it, he's like, why do you guys have so many wheels? But Dan, Rex
go to
had,
Jared's house then.
Yeah.
Facts.
That's actually. I was just at his house recently doing a little video on him, and like Jared is a wheel. He's one of the wheel. Him and Aaron like max wheel
Yeah.
whores, and
Those are some. Those are some of my favorite wheels.
Oh
right
yeah.
there.
so those.
We were
were
just saying like
the
he
TEs.
has got like
Yeah.
1,000 wheels at his house.
Does he really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
Is he
Aaron-
single?
No,
No?
his wife is very angry at him.
Yeah.
Oh.
Hi, Leslie. So the funny thing with that is that he E88s got very big, very fast. I think for the longest time, what happened was a lot of people were running the incorrect offsets for E88s.
I totally
and
agree with
when
that.
you do that, they look very terrible.
Donkey.
Ah.
They look donkey.
They look really, really bad. And so when the right fitment started coming on, but the thing is, right fitment takes a certain type of personality. So, for example,
Yep.
when Tim just sold his E88s because, he wanted something different. he just sold it, but about 12 people passed on it because they're like, oh, it's too aggressive.
Mhm.
Well, guess what?
Ah.
If you can't run the setup, just don't put them on because they
That's
just
true.
look so bad.
I swear that
Yeah.
I totally agree with that. The wheel only looks right on one setup.
Yeah.
And if you don't want to run that setup, then that's not your wheel.
Don't do
Yeah.
it. Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. And I think same thing with the TEs. Like, Jared's got his one offset. But to run those setup, you have to run very aggressive.
Yeah.
And with the RHs, funny enough, for years I was bugging Rex. Rex has a set of bronze RH speed
Yeah.
lines that look
so
they're like
good.
two-toned.
Yes.
And I've been bugging him for years, and he just wouldn't sell it to me. And so there was a point where he was kind of getting ready to sell them, but Rex has a bronze side and he has a blue side. So I knew if I had bought
Really?
his wheels, I would have to get them redone because of the color. So
Ah.
Oh, because they're
Yeah.
the different sides.
so I was looking for years, and you can get them brand new from RH, but they want $4,000. And
Yeah.
I was like, being Asian again, and I was like,
You're like, this doesn't make
not,
sense.
not trying to buy those. And for the longest time, I was looking for roof wheels, but my 993 came with roof wheels, so I kind of ran them for a few
Yeah.
years, looking for a set of wheels. And every time
It looks great with those wheels, by the way.
It does. It looks even though it's not period correct on that one.
Yeah,
it's
it
a
still
nice
looks great.
It looks super good. But I did the same thing with the speed lines because what ended up happening was I was looking over and over, and there are times where I was like, if a good deal comes up, I'll pick it up. Well, good deals weren't coming around, and then as of recently, all of them were starting to come around. So I started picking up as much as I could, and of course my buddy Jason, he refurbs them, and then he took them in and did such a
Yeah.
beautiful job.
Jason is a wheel master.
Jason is so awesome. I mean, and I love Jason because he's so humble with everything he does. But, at the time when we were at his house, I was like, I wanted something that can look very unique.
Yeah.
And I was in his garage, and I was looking at his car because for like a year, I was thinking, like, if I get a set, what color will I do? And I didn't want to do silver. and we're just going back and forth, and we're talking about doing maybe white, but I was looking at his car, and I was like, yo, I'm going to go linen gray. Because he actually picked up my wheels in Europe. He went to Europe to deliver wheels because he found out that it's cheaper to actually fly on a plane, take wheels, than it is to ship them.
Really?
So he was in
That's
Tokyo,
crazy.
then he went to the UK, and I was like, yo, Jason, can you bring my wheels back? Because he took wheels there, and it was cheaper for us to do that.
So,
than
like,
have
he
them
put
shipped
him
over.
on the plane with him?
Yeah.
Really?
So-
And that was cheaper to do that?
Yeah. So
Wow.
to me,
That's so
I wouldn't
crazy.
think that would be
Yeah.
true.
yeah. So what happened was in Belgium, like the seller sent it from Belgium to the UK where Rob was. Yo, what's up, Rob?
Rob 964 page.
Yep. And so it was at Rob's shop, and then Jason went there for 2 days. Hung out with Rob and stuff. Brought my wheels back, and when they came back, they were kind of beat a little bit. And I knew I had to get them refurbed, but at that same time, I was like, I don't know what color I'm gonna do, so I'll just leave it. But when we're in his garage, I was like, yo, the whole homage thing, because he went to go pick them up. We're in his garage. He's gonna refurb them. And I was like, yo, nobody really has linen gray. It's like that's kind of specific to Jason.
Yeah.
And I was like, yo, just to pay homage to you and bringing him over here.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm gonna
cool.
do the linen gray. And then he was like, at the same time, what happened was like, he goes, you know what? I don't even have enough of the silver hardware. He goes, I'm just gonna upgrade you to the gold ones, and I was
Upgrades.
like, and so I was like,
What?
once again, Jason was like,
Give me
know what?
the platinum, dog.
Yeah, let's do it, bro. So to all that, and then what ended up happening was Tim found a set, and he was like, dude, I'm going for it. And then all of a sudden, now is like almost there's like a rush happening, and so I was like, and then I was in Miami. And so, but you got the real ones, bro.
Yeah, I know.
But you can't mess with those too much because they're real.
I know.
So, but the thing is, like, amongst all of this, is that when I was looking for wheels, it's a 993, and I was like, well, would it look right with it? And for a long
Yes.
time, I kind of went
Yes.
back and forth.
Yes.
But
Yes.
so after Luft
gonna
is over,
look
I'm gonna
sick.
finally do the
Yeah.
test fit, and hopefully it looks dope. But
It's gonna look sick.
Cool. I just can't get away from the E88s on my 964 though. The gold with that amethyst
It looks beautiful.
it just pops. It looks like something from the 90s to me. It just
I'll
catches
just throw
my
a
eye.
little bit of like flavor, just if you ever want to change it up.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen like a oak green car, and gold goes good with that. And I've seen 3-piece cups with gold faces
Ooh.
on the oak green. I think if you ever went that way
Yeah.
and you did a gold like backside, like the cup
Yeah.
on your car, it would be fire.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, don't get me started.
But
need
I mean,
to
your
spend
car
more
is
money.
already fire. I'm just saying, if you ever get
No,
squirrely
no,
and
of
want to
course.
change things
Of
up,
course.
You want extra fire.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, you always need another pair of shoes.
And it's
right?
funny you say that. Like when I did my car 3.5 years ago, I was gonna go E88s because E88s are always still popular. They were real popular 3.5 years ago, and I was like, for me, I wanted to do something different. And like that's why I ended up with Speedline, just because I'm a lot like you guys. I just want a different look.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Yeah.
man, I don't want another Guards red car that's got like E88s on it. Like, what could I go with? And honestly, like I saw like a white 964, like a picture on the internet with the 3-piece cups like slammed, and I was like, that's it. I'm putting those on my car. Like
Yeah.
I'm gonna hunt those down. I'm gonna put those on my car.
Was it Worcester?
I think it was
Okay,
Worcester's car. And I was like, I'm going to hunt those wheels down, and I'm going to wait for them if I got it. Like, I just got lucky. Like, while I was looking, and they were available, and that's what I went with. I was like, that's what I'm doing.
Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. So, yeah, the new
The new 88.
the
is
new
the
E88 is the
Speedline.
speed lines. You heard it here.
Well, you know what?
The trend is happening.
I almost feel like
I was
a
3 years
revival,
in front of the
because-
trend, but you know how it goes.
I almost feel it's like a revival because they're old wheels
Yeah.
that kind of died off and then kind of came back, and
It's retro.
It's
Yeah.
like retro, yeah.
But I
guess.
think it's one of those things like we talk about. It's like OEM plus, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So it's one of those things where it's kind of like, okay, it pays homage, like that is in the Porsche line.
Oh, yeah.
So it's kind
Yeah.
of like it's plus.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's like, yeah, my car's low, but I'm using Porsche exclusive parts for it. That wheel never came on a narrow
so
body.
you're a purist.
Yeah.
You
know
damn
it.
liar.
Got him. Got
You're
him.
a racer, bro.
Damn. You knew it at heart. I was one.
Have you heard his? Oh, I don't know if you've heard his exhaust, but it is like crazy obnoxious.
It
Like,
could never
Oh,
come to
I've seen it
California.
I've seen it on Instagram.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It can't come to California.
no, dude.
It's got there's like guards at the border waiting for my car. Like if that 964 ever comes here, it just throw the tire shredders out.
I
like
love how
you cannot.
you pull out and rip right by cars in traffic. And I'm like, that's why Porsche guys get a bad name.
And it's like,
Mike.
"Rah!
It's Mike.
It's me.
Yes.
It's that South Florida.
No, awesome, man.
Yeah.
Awesome.
But I don't have anything else. Do you have anything,
I
Aaron?
answered. I asked all my questions, so I'm good.
Well, thank you guys so much for coming on the show.
Thank you for having us. I
Of
appreciate
course.
it. I'm
Go
glad my buddy Drew was able to come and
Of course.
hang out.
Yeah, everybody made it.
Yeah, awesome.
So,
this is gonna be a great weekend.
It is going to be a wonderful
my gosh.
weekend. I mean,
So
it's
excited.
Thursday. Luft is not even like here yet.
Yeah.
So
It's gonna rain, by the way.
I know that's what I've heard.
Hey, you know what? It rained before. Luke
It
4
has.
rained.
It
Yeah.
has.
Yeah.
But-
Maybe karma.
Yeah.
You know what?
My car's got a lot of bugs on it. It could use a little rain
Yeah.
right now.
Hey.
It's fine.
But yeah,
It's fine.
so go check out 911 Cool, guys, if you haven't. This guy is doing amazing things. He's a great photographer, great videographer. Drew is the man. He is putting out so much cool stuff out right now. If you don't know, now you know. And also go to FD
Motorsports.
Motorsports.
Give me a follow on IG.
Yeah.
We post some fun stuff, and sometimes we give away some fun stuff. And
Yeah, this guy's to the core, man. He lives it, he breathes it, he drives it, he builds it. Like it is all him, man. And Darin is such a good guy. If you've ever met him before in person, like you'll know it right away, man. He's a great person. So definitely give him a follow. If you're in the market for any of those products, this is your guy to buy it from.
well, thank you guys. I just want to thank Aaron, Mike, Drew, all you gentlemen for hanging out with me this afternoon.
Yeah,
Super
absolutely.
fun.
Excited
And,
to see you. I'm glad you're here. Let's party. Let's get
let's
some
do
food.
it.
Let's
Yeah.
eat.
Let's do
Go.
it.
Boom.
All
That's
right.
it. Have a good one.
Later.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of P-Car Talk. Connect with us on Instagram at P-Car Talk or online at pcartalk.com.